Hello, everyone. We are working with probability today. So let's look at this problem. Blake has two different standard dice. One is black and the other is red. Blake threw each one several times and recorded the outcomes in the tables below. Based on these results, if Blake throws each dice 80 times, which of the following statements can be the best prediction? So I made sure I circled or underlined important information in the story problem. And now I want to make sure that I underline my question or box it in because I want to make sure I'm focusing on that question. So which of the following statements can be the best prediction? And I really like best prediction. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at this information that was given to me. I want to be careful, so I noticed that they said that this one was the black dice, and they said that this one is the red dice. Okay, so now let's take a look at how many times, because they said Blake threw each one several times. But what is several? We need a number, right? So the numbers on top are just the numbers that landed from the dice, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because those are the numbers that can land on this dice or number cube. So, for example, here we can see he landed on the number 1 4 times, but he landed on the number 6 2 times. So this frequency is the number of times he actually rolled. So if we add those up, we get 20. So that is our total. Now let's look at this other table. For the red one, we have 3, 5, 9, 3, and 8. That would also be 20. So our total for both dice is 20. So when it says several times is he threw them 20 times each. So now that we have that information, we're going to go ahead and think about what we can do to predict if each number dice is thrown 80 times. So let's look at the fact that we know he threw it 20 times. So if we wanted to have a total of 80 times, what would be the factor, or what is the relationship? 20 times 4. I agree. So 20 times 4 gives us 80. So that means that if I wanted to throw this black dice 80 times, then I'm going to expect that each number will land 4 times as many, right? So because 20 times 4 is 80, we're going to multiply everything by 4 to get that 80. Does everybody see what we're doing? So we're going to do 4 times 4, that's 16. 5 times 4, that's 20. 2 times 4, that's 8. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And 2 times 4 is 8. So if we throw this black die 80 times, then we should land on the number 1, 16, and on the number 6, 8, and so forth and so forth. Now let's find the same relationship with the red dice. So again, he's going to throw each dice 80 times. So we want 80 So we can find the factor or the relationship from 20 to 80. Again, it's times 4. So we're going to multiply each one times 4 to predict how many times the red dice would land on each of these. So 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 times 4 is 16. So we just made a proportion for each of these outcomes. We made a proportion. We know that we have a factor of 4 so that we can have 80. And so we're multiplying each one by 4. We found that relationship. So now we can answer the questions, and we're going to look at the number 2 in the black die. So the number 2 is right here on the black die will land fewer times than on the red die. So the number 2 on the red die is right here. So let's see where we landed, 20 and 8. So let's write that down. On the black die, we got 20 times the number 2. And on the red die, we expect that we will get 8 times for the number 2. And so is that fewer? So we read it from left to right. Is 20 fewer than 8? False. Okay, so the number 1 on the black die will land 3 more times than on the red die. So we're looking at the number 1 this time. So the number 1, there it is, and the number 1. Okay, so let's see. The number 1 was 16 times on the black. And on the red, that was the number 1 landed 12 times. So 16 is more than 12, that is true. But is it 3 more? So let's see. 12 plus 3, that would be 15. So 16 is actually 4 more than 12. So this is false. Okay, so now let's look at the number 6. The number 6. So we have for the black dice for the number 6, we got 8. And for the red one, on the number 6, we would get 16. And we want to know, is that 10 more times? So 8 is 10 more times than 16. Well, first of all, is 8 more than 16? It's not, right? It's less. So this is not even going to make sense. How can it be 10 more? It's not even more. It's actually less. So this is false. Okay, so we have one more chance, and we're going to use the number 3 dice. So number 3 on each dice. So on the black dice, we got the number 3 8 times, and we spun it or rolled it 80 times. And we predicted that we would get 16 times for it to land on 3 on the red one. So let's write that down here. So we have to do the red one first this time. You see what they did there? The red one first, and that one we said was 16. And they put the black one in the back this time. So they switched the order, trying to get a little tricky. And so the black one for the number 3 we said was 8. And now we're going to read this right here. 8 more times. Okay, so is 16 more than 8? Yes, it is. Is it 8 more? Let's see. What's 8 plus 8? 8 plus 8 is 16. So it is 8 more. That is true. See what they did? So I think they tried to make it a little bit tricky. So be careful where we're putting our numbers, and that's why it's so important that we mark our statements. It seems like it's a little bit of extra work, all the things that we are doing, but it is helpful, okay? Because right away, when I'm using like my color strategy to underline red with a red pen or red color, that helps me. When I underline it, I'm like, oh, this time the red is in the front, not in the back. So it is important um, to follow your strategies all the way through so that you can make sure we're not making an error. So in this case, we found out that the number 3 on the red die, on this one right here, was in fact landed on more times than the black one landed on that 3, and it was 8 more times. So the correct answer is D. Hey, now it's your turn to try one.